Okay, for the next table, I want to get the slope and the y-intercept. To find the slope of a table, I'm going to do the change in y over the change in x. So I'm going to focus on the bottom part first. I ask myself, how did they get from an 8 to a 15? If you don't know how much they added, you just subtract. So 15 minus 8 would tell me that they increased by 7. So I'm going to put that on the top part of my ratio for slope. The bottom is telling me to find the change in the x value. So I'm going to go see. From a 1 to a 2, well, they just added 1. So 1 goes on the bottom of my ratio. Slope always needs to be reduced. So 7 divided by 1 is just 7. Okay? So for a non-proportional table, because this does not have a constant, I divide and I get all different answers. I write out the non-proportional relationship, y equals mx plus b. We just got the slope, or the m, was a 7. So I'm going to fill that in right under the m. I can go to my table to get an x and a y value. So right under the variable x, I'm filling in a 1. Since these variables were side by side, I'm going to show that they're multiplying by separating that with parentheses. It's not going to be a 71. It's 7 times 1. I'm going to go get a y value from my table. So fill that in under y. Right now I do not know the value of the y-intercept. So I just put plus b. I just bring it down. Since I only have one variable or one letter left in my equation, I can solve it, and then I can write the equation that represents this table. Okay, so I have 7 times 1 right here, so I'm just going to simplify that. That's just 7. I bring the rest of the equation down. So it's saying 7 plus something is 8. I don't want the 7 here, so I'm going to minus 7, so it will cancel out. Okay, so now my variable is isolated. B is all alone. I work this side, 8 minus 7, to get 1. So I know that my m number is 7. I know my b number is 1. So in this equation, I'm going to keep the y, I'm going to keep the y, and I'm going to keep the x there. For m, I did change in y over change in x, and I got a 7. So I'm substituting a 7 for the variable m. I rewrote out the equation and filled in everything that I could so I can solve it for b, and I got a 1. So I'm going to fill in that the y-intercept was a 1. So this is the equation that represents that table.